Hi there. So, documentation again. Um, just kind of cover the last 24 to 36 hours mainly. Um, we're in Parlay now. It is 20230909. Begun 15:30 Arizona time. So in the last day or two, it became apparent that given our success and our advances against Sons of Perdition, one came back around that, or an individual came back around, and other groups who we've been kind of not interacting with too much, kind of keeping them on a back burner, and they've just been kind of watching us, okay? And one of those individuals with his group is the AntiChrist. But he presented again yesterday, wanting dialogue. So on that, there were certain councils of Israeli persuasion that we engaged with, and the outcome was a total failure. It didn't go well, and I have failure in that, openly admitted. Probably my biggest failure in it was that I didn't take the opportunity to consult the Lord, and it went very badly. So I went with my own understandings in the matter, and I let certain things that I was irritated about get the better of me in those conversations, and the outcome was not good. So there were things that these state-affiliated organizations had done that I was overtly pissed about with them, and they reciprocated. Okay. And where that left off is, I ended it with we both had a walk away, and there were certain damages that were done. I had thought that, well, we'll just come back to it later. What they decided to do was do something about it now. Okay. So there's the background on it. So, like I said, I'm in a parlay now. Preliminary to this, definitely consulted the Lord this time, thoroughly. And just prior to needing to make this video, which is just a matter of record, documentation, there were some preliminary confidential council interactions and consultations with primaries. So, in attendance on this parlay, and just for the purposes of making the record, having attendants, Satan, Michael, and me. So after the total failure of the Parlay, the Israeli Parlay, and just the mess I left, they left too. Just the mess we left on that. They decided to initiate a series of actions on our principality, with the intention of completely overtaking us in one series. They were able to accomplish something that was totally unexpected and just not contemplated. And the term the Lord gave to me for it is a term of Satanic miracle. I did not know such a thing was possible. But the impact of it on us was that, I had been distracted a little later in the day anyway, and I was late to my regulars. And when I got to my regular interaction set, it was just a non-response. It was a non-response. Nobody showed up, which is, that never happens. Nobody showed up. And all inquiries I put out on it were unresponsive, non-response, which never happens. So I did discover, because I prayed about it then and there, that the design of the non-response was to try to piss me off, to see if I would start on a path of issuing corrective measures on those who were not responding. But the silence was deafening. No one was responsive, and that just doesn't happen. Not like that. I knew something was very wrong. Okay. So, under the direction of the Lord, I was able to counter what had been done. And what had been done was that there were a certain series of exploits that were conducted, which basically disabled all command and control centers, and the individuals responsible for running those had a total compromise of freedom of choice, which was done by force. They were not able to comply because they couldn't independently decide to, which was exactly why I received the support from the Lord I did. Otherwise, I would have been on my own, because that is expressly illegal under eternal law. So there were a series of actions taken, and we worked our way through the chain of command, and it took some time, but we regained control of things. We removed the exploits. Everything did come to a screeching halt. Like, no transportation, no communication, no nothing. It just all stopped. There's certain aspects of that I did stop because of the situation, and that doesn't happen. Not on that scale, no. Where you have a total shutdown and a lockdown of everything, not like that. That doesn't happen. But it did last night. Okay. So we were able to regain our footing on that. Made certain emergency deployments just as a matter of security and investigation, and we priority one looking into everything related to this. We did quickly find that at the center, or the epicenter of the main series of compromises, lo and behold, sitting right in the middle of that was the Antichrist. So he was bound. Immediate to that, there was Satan. So he was bound and taken into custody. And he's been that way. He won't be after this parlay, but he was up until now, and it's been several hours that way. About 12 hours now. For both of them. So coming out of this, and on review of all of it, it was also determined that there was a level of exploit that was installed even into the Antichrist, which basically he did something he wouldn't have done otherwise, which was done as an exploit of him. And so we had to begin investigating that also, and I'll get to where that led in a minute. For his part, his determination is he's going to be free to move around physically, but in terms of his spiritual reach and his perceptive reach and anything under his consideration, it's determination and cleared, audit ultra clear, that we're going to arrest his perceptions of things, and they're going to be put under strict review, not as an intervention into his freedom of choice, but that there's basically nothing he can do, which is not a matter of investigation. One of the reviewers in this is Beast. I'm not going to be a direct reviewer in it. I'll take it as periodic reporting. I have other things that I'm concerned with. But Beast has the headspace for it, so he's going to be looking at that. But there's also an audit group that's designated for it, and they're going to be doing it from there. So we'll see how that goes. For Satan, I said Satan was in attendance at this parlay. Let me give you a warning about him just up front. This is something that he's made clear to me, pretty much in general, about anyone. Do not seek to directly contact or interface with Satan. Never, ever do that. His initial and extended course of action for individuals who do that is to put a high priority into influencing them in the direction of their own eternal destruction. And he is very effective. So don't do it. He will wreck you in the short term. He can call upon support he has that can bind you up and literally drive you insane. Not to mention, he can very carefully lead you down a path quickly where you just destroy yourself. And all the while, you will believe, because you'll buy into your own deceit of it, that you are improving your situation. It's very carefully done, and he's very good at it. Do not seek contact with Satan. That being said, he was bound in the last 12 hours. He's not going to be here in a few minutes. He'll be free to go. The reason for his binding is on this. It's a matter of censure. He participated in a plan of action which is illegal even to him under eternal law, and this is why he was bound, was because he tacitly approved pushing beyond a boundary that more or less states that it is illegal to override a freedom of choice by force. He was in a working group that did it, and he didn't recuse himself. So as a matter of censure, he's censured for this, but at the end of this parlay, he'll be free to go because he didn't actually execute it. So this is just a procedural issue for him. At the root of this entire compromise at the principality level, and the whole series of actions after the failed Israeli parlays yesterday, the root of the action that we got to and that we were able to identify as the commanding authority in it was something I didn't realize was its own distinct thing, but it is. It's an organization that's based in Jerusalem. They just call it the Synagogue internally. I understand this after the Lord has directed me on who they are. I understand it now to be the Synagogue of Satan. I did not understand that there was such an actual thing. But there is. The purpose in it, ultimately, is to be compliant and supportive of all things that which were designated to happen in order that Jesus will return. And the objective on that is when they get him in Jerusalem, they're going to make an attempt to kill him. And they are the frontline order that is charged with making that direct action happen. I understood this to be a directive and a priority of the Sons of Perdition. The Sons of Perdition are an entirely separate operating group. The Synagogue of Satan, as far as I understand it now, is much more focused than the Sons of Perdition. They're orders of magnitude more focused, and they've proven their capability is much higher than the Sons of Perdition. Just in the last 24 hours. I've never seen anything like it. So, That's disconcerting. Just in due course of us regaining control of our principality, though, we did inflict a high degree of damage on them. So they're also aware that if we get kicked in the balls, we can do the same fucking thing. And so there's a mutual determination at this point to agree to current condition of stalemate and just start dialogue. That is a parlay determination direct with them, which is ancillary to this parlay. That is the determination of it. Next courses of action, just coming out of all of this, principality level of those things which I'm working on. As you can imagine, we're going to be reviewing this and making decisions on it. And most things of that are going to be confidential in nature for now. We'll continue to do the regulars. We'll keep Vox up. We'll make certain allowances for those who we, just prior to the Israeli parlays, we had cut them off of Vox. We had kicked them off of Vox and other points of observation which they were heavily trying to exploit, which is why we did it. We're going to reevaluate all the points of integration for observation, and we're going to completely redetermine observation classes and information exchanges at every level and every point of integration. Because that blockage of the flow of information for them, they saw as an existential matter automatically, which is why they approached in the manner they did. Israel is highly reliant on intelligence. And when you fuck with that, they come fuck with you. Okay? They've let me know what their level of intent is in terms of how severe they're willing to get immediately with that, and I understand. That being said, I'm not going to put up with their fucking shit either. So we're just going to have to dialogue it out, man. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. Everybody is evaluating and doing a post-mortem on every fucking little thing that's happened this week, especially the last 24 hours. Michael is in this parlay. He's not saying anything, but he's in this parlay as a matter of escort to Satan. He's who bound him. So, on conclusion of this, they're both going away. So, just a short little note for documentation purposes. I hope you're having a good day. I expect the rest of today to be very busy, and it's probably going to take all fucking night, the next few nights, till. Have a good weekend. pray about it and ask. There are things happening right now that are going to directly impact and affect your entire fucking future. Whoever you are, it will. I don't care if you believe that or not. There are prescribed ways to make yourself resilient to this. But for a lot of you, you're just going to be swept the fuck back out to sea with the tide. And I don't have a high degree of excitement about what we're about to see. If you think that you're somehow going to get magically transported out of having to go through this with something like a rapture or something like that, you are entirely fucking mistaken. Do a research project and go nail down the basis for the whole concept of rapture. You will not find it in the Bible. Get right with the Lord. If you don't believe in any of that shit, at least make sure you have some food storage and a little bit of something that you can trade to get water and food later. Or you may just starve to fucking death. Have a good day.